The next installment of our Between the Rows video series takes us to Fayette County and the farm of Ryan Heiser.
I've been farming with my family my entire life. Grew up around here, local 4-H, everything like that. FFA, went to Ohio State for ag business, and decided to come back, help the family farm. Farm with my dad and my uncle. We farm roughly about 1,000 acres. And my cousins. I can't forget them or else they'll get mad at me. Corn and beans most of the time. Last year was my second full year being on the planter. Like Dad says, you can't expect to run your own planter forever. You got to hand it off to the next generation. You got to pass the skills on down and understand why it works, why it doesn't work, and how to maintain and put in a good crop.
Some of the farm's soils can be slow to dry out when compared to the rest of the state.
Well, like I said, we're on the wet side of the county. We're in western Fayette County. Normally, we're just about a week behind everybody else, whether it be on the river, the Scioto River bottom around Circleville and eastern Fayette County. Those are more sandy type soils. Over here, you've got more of a Brookston is a very prominent soil type, and it's very, very high in organic matter, but at the same time, it can hold moisture in so well that it's a hindrance to the farmer. It can be a challenge because if you do not treat it right, it will, and if you hit it too hard with a cultivator or something like that, it will turn hard as a rock at the first rain if you turn it into too fine of a powder. So it's a challenge trying to keep it in a happy medium. We normally do a conventional till in terms of corn. We usually just go in with a chisel plow in the wintertime, go out, rip it pretty good, and then come in, fall back through with a cultivator. Now our beans, 9 times out of 10, unless we have problems with, as like this year with rutting of the fields with heavy equipment from fall, we normally don't do any tillage out in front of beans. And so we have like a little bit of a no-till crop rotation every 2 years, so we don't have to worry as much about erosion.
The farm additionally grows seed beans for Seed Genetics Direct.
We started doing that a couple years ago. Chris Jeffries approached us and said, would you guys like to? And we all thought it over and decided to say yes, since Chris has been very nice to us in the past. He's been very accommodating, been very helpful of us, been pretty, how do I want to say it? Pretty generous to let us help him out. And so far, the yields we've been receiving off of his seed beans, I almost didn't believe it because of the different kinds of traits, because Enlist is just so early in its life cycle. Growing seed beans is worth the effort, depending on whether or not you get a buyer's premium or price or something like that. There's a lot more cleanup time, there's a lot more preparation involved. You've got to be able to sit down and do the work and not be afraid to get dirty and sometimes. And mainly it's just time consuming. If it was just like regular production crops, you could just throw it in the tractor or throw it in the combine, in the grain cart or in the combine, and not have to worry about it. But with it being seed beans and the fact that we want to not only get the right price for it, but have the same kind of insurance to ourselves that we want the same kind of product as we would want out of the bag. We try to make them as clean as possible.
Keep up to date with our Between the Rows farmers all season long in Ohio's Country Journal, Ohio AgNet, and at OCJ.com, and that's powered by Seed Genetics Direct. Reporting for Ohio's Country Journal, I'm Matt Reese.